Welcome back, everybody, to AFL Advance as we look forward to week number 11. It is Sunday afternoon, and there are plenty of NFL football games on, so as you can imagine, my co-host availability is slim to none. I didn't even bother reaching out today because I didn't want them to feel like they had to on this NFL Sunday that we all live for. So I just wanted to get a Week 11 preview video out. This one is going to be quick because I also want to get back to watching the games. So Week 11 is going to start off with what looks to me to be a lopsided matchup in Pittsburgh, as Flip's 2-6 Pittsburgh Steelers will play host to MVP's 8-1 Tennessee Titans. The Steelers are only averaging 10 points a game, and the Titans are only giving up 10 points a game. So my guess is the Steelers will get around 10 points this game, and that won't be enough to beat the Titans. Give me the Titans in Pittsburgh with the big win. A huge game in the NFC North that now all of a sudden has squeezed pretty tight, as the new sole leader of the division right now, KK the Destroyer's Detroit Lions at 7-2 will play host to my Chicago Bears at 5-4. My Bears are coming off with a big 38-3 victory over the Green Bay Packers last week, and KK the Destroyer's Lions came off of a big victory over the Cleveland Browns. This is a big matchup. It's our first time playing each other this season. I don't pick my own games on this show, so we'll just see what happens. Those same Packers that I beat last week will try to get back on the winning trail this week as they play host to Field of Dreams Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens are slowly but surely falling out of this playoff race altogether. They're 3-6, and they pretty much have to win out to have any shot at the playoffs. But unfortunately, I don't think they get it done this week in Lambeau. I know the Packers took it on the chin last week, but they are 6-3. I expect them to get enough done on the field, get right, and get to 7-3 with a big victory over the Ravens this week. The Cleveland Browns, who once had sole possession of first place in the AFC North, are now 4-5 as they play host to the 5-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. This game has a lot of implications in the AFC playoff race. For the Browns, even though they're 4-5, they're tied for first place in the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals, but they're only one game ahead of the 3-6 Ravens. So even though those teams are struggling, everything is still in front of them. And for the Jaguars, while the division title in the AFC South seems to be out of reach, the Jaguars can easily hang out in this wild card race, but they have to continue to do what they've done a great majority of this season. Take care of business when they're not playing the Titans or Stokes' Texans. In this situation, they got to find a way to win in Cleveland. I think they get that done. Give me Livingston and the Jaguars. Stokes' Texans have yet to lose a game this season, and they play host to a very frustrated Arizona Cardinals bunch. The Cardinals lost a heartbreaker last week against T-Mac's Seahawks. The Cardinals had the game in their grasp, but got a bad pass interference call late, end up losing that game. Stokes yet to lose a game, but he's losing players left and right. It looks like his new running back now is going to be Akeem Hunt, but if you know Stokes, he's not struggling to run the ball at all. I think the Texans get a win here. They're 9-0. I expect them to get to 10-0. And unfortunately for Reese, as his Cardinals sit at 4-5, this sixth loss will really hurt if he can't get it done in Houston. Mustang's Minnesota Vikings have pulled the 5-4, and they play host to the 4-5 LA Rams. The Rams are coming off of a very disappointing loss to Stokes' Texans last week. They had a chance to pull over 500 and really get back into the NFC wildcard race. But with that loss, now they're back under 500. This game here is between two teams that both have their eye on the wildcard. Now, the Vikings are still within earshot of the NFC North lead, as all NFC North teams all have a winning record, But really, this is two teams that are both at the end of the season, more likely than not, going to be vying for those two wildcard games. So I think that while Mustang has been playing well with the Vikings, I'm going to pick Joker's Rams to get a win here. I don't really have a reason why, other than the fact that Joker has been playing well. What Mustang's been doing recently is not turning the ball over, and that's what Joker's been thriving on defense. I'm interested to see if Mustang, in a game where if he turns the ball over he's going to lose, can rein it in, run the ball, and play smart on offense. If he can, I give him a great shot to win, but I'm going to pick the Rams this game. Justin's New Orleans Saints. They play host to Bailey's Washington Redskins. Now, this is two very frustrated teams for very different reasons. The Saints are 2-7, and they got shellacked last week in Buffalo. I forget what the stat line was, but Blake Bortles had something like 25 passing yards. Bailey started the season off 5-0, and since has lost 4 games in a row to fall to 5-4. Bailey has to find a way to get a win, and Justin's been up and down, mainly down this season, but his Saints also really at this point playing for pride, but they're not going to just lay down and play for a draft pick. They're going to try to find a way to win this game. I don't know what to make of what's going on with Bailey right now. He's struggling. He can't get out of his own way. He's losing games to teams that I didn't expect him to lose to. I'm going to go with the trend. I'm going to say he finds a way to lose again this week in New Orleans, and the Redskins fall to 5-5. I hate to see it for Bailey, but the way it's trending, it's just hard to pick him to win this game. How about E-Dub's New York Giants? They get to 6-3 last week with a huge win over Danny's San Francisco 49ers. The Niners have now lost 2 out of their last 3 games, and they play host this week to the Kansas City Chiefs and Sham, who are 4-5. I think E-Dub finds a way to win this game. Sham's been up and down, turning the ball over way too much. E-Dub's starting to hit his playoff stride, and I think the Giants find a way to win this game. As we move ahead to the 4 o'clock games, RVD's LA Chargers, still struggling mightily, have a tall task this week. They welcome in the undefeated Buffalo Bills, and Nino, unfortunately for RVD, I don't see a way his Chargers pull this out. I think the Bills stay undefeated in this game. A-Bomb's Denver Broncos are leading the AFC West right now, and they play host with SJR's Cincinnati Bengals, who are tied for the lead in the AFC North. Both of these teams have to find a way to win this game. A little bit more desperation on the side of the Bengals, as A-Bomb has built a nice cushion in his division. I think the desperation is going to be on the side of the Bengals. I think they find a way to scratch and claw, no pun intended, to victory in Denver this week. Give me SJR and the Bengals to pull even to 500 on the season. This game's tough to call here in Oakland because Bo's Raiders have really been struggling. They only have 1 win on the season. They're throwing interceptions at a very tough rate. The Patriots and Hitman are just not really getting the games in consistently. Looks like they're going to take another forced loss in Week 10. So right now I'm going to take the Raiders. I'm not sure if it's going to be by forced loss or what. If it gets played, I think Hitman's probably the favorite. But right now it's just tough to tell what's going on in New England. Roman's Dallas Cowboys are on a roll. They had a huge win last week in Atlanta. They're creeping up on Bailey and E-Dub in the NFC East, and I think they're going to keep it going with a huge victory, blowout fashion over the Philadelphia Eagles this week in Emo. Under the lights of Sunday Night Football, I think the Cowboys will shine. Zeke Elliott's going to have a huge game. Roman's defense going to get a lot of interceptions, and all of a sudden, Roman's on track to make the playoffs in the NFC. Good for him. And on Monday Night Football, T-Mag Seattle Seahawks had the big rivalry victory last week against Reese's Cardinals. They have another rival matchup this week as they play host to Costas Falcons. The Falcons lost last week, their 3rd loss of the season, but every time Costas lost a game this year, he's come back with a win. I think he does it again this week. I think Tevin Coleman gets back on track. Even though the game is in Seattle, I think the Falcons find a way on Monday Night Football under the lights to beat their rival T-Mag and the Seahawks. I think Coleman has a big game. Give me the Falcons. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be fest-worthy, but the Falcons will win this game. And that is a look at week number 11.